Hello, so today I decided to do something fun and it's a challenge for me. I decided to work on some Samsung phones, and the first one we have here is a Samsung A16, I think it is, A16 4G, right? So the problem with this phone is that it starts, so that's not a problem. The battery is at 15%. I don't want to start it because it has some child faces on it. But it doesn't charge, right? So I find this a real challenge because I've never worked on these phones and I have no idea how they work. So I was advised by some friends to get some Borneo schematics because the JCID that I use and XZ do not have the proper schematics. Now the tricky part with this one is that it's a very cheap phone, so it's like, I don't know, maybe 120 euros second hand on the market, so you cannot charge a lot, meaning that you have to repair it fast, so it's worth the repair. Yeah, so I'm not gonna connect the USB anymore on it because it doesn't do anything. So you see the USB is right there. If I connect it, it stays like that, so at 0 volt, and it doesn't push the 5 volt, meaning that the CC line is not being dropped down, so the charger sends the first 5 volts so that the power delivery controller can negotiate with the charger. Yeah, I have a video and I'm gonna put a link maybe up there with how the USB controller works, right? So it can be numerous faults. I understand from various people that these flexes could be an issue. The FPC connectors, although this comes from a different repair shop, they said they have tested this board and this flex on another phone and it works. So that's gonna be quite interesting, right? So the first thing, I would connect a USB cable here on the connector. I just hope they are right. And I'm gonna put this termination right here because I want to measure the CC line and VBUS and see if we have a short or not, right? So I have the multimeter right here, and this is just a termination for this cable, so I can measure properly. I'm gonna put the red probe on ground, and you can see the multimeter up there in the left corner, and I'm gonna probe first the VBUS, which is here. Yeah, and I have a dead short on VBUS. VBUS is shorted. That's no bueno. Yeah, on the CC line, yeah, we have 0.6 on one CC line, and the other is open. Maybe if we rotate the cable, let's see. Yeah, we have 0.6 on the other one, so the CC lines are fine. Yeah, but the VBUS is completely shorted. So now to find out if the short comes from this board or the main board, I'm gonna remove the connector right here. So it's removed from this side. Let's see if we still have a short on VBUS, and we do not have a short anymore on the VBUS. Good. Let me connect it back. I just want to see if the short comes from the flex, which is highly improbable. Yeah, and try again. VBUS not shorted. If I connect the connector back, not this one, maybe the one on the left, I have again a VBUS short, so VBUS should come on this left connector here, right? Good. So let's remove this connector, and I think we're gonna have to go under the microscope because there's nothing much we can do here, and see this connector here and investigate why it gets shorted. So on Borneo I could find this. There is some sort of a board view, but it's more like a view on JCID, so it doesn't help. You don't have any lines or something, but we see that the VBUS is right here, and it goes through an over voltage protection chip. It goes this way, and it comes here, and that's on the back of this board. So I'm gonna have to remove the board, and we're gonna probably have to cut this shield and have a look here, because I'm curious to see if any of these caps are shorted. Maybe it is possible. So this is the entry point of the VBUS, and this is the exit point of the over voltage protection circuit. Yeah, and then I think it goes, probably this is the charging IC, I don't know, and this probably is the PD controller, I don't know. Yeah, it is the PD controller, because the CC lines are getting to this chip. But as you saw, we measured the CC lines and they look good. So give me a second to remove the board, and I'm gonna be right back. Alright, so our VBUS chip should be right here below this shield. So I think I'm gonna try to cut it. I don't want to add a lot of metal debris there, so I'm gonna use that over protection thingy, and I'm gonna use the Dremel to try to cut this one. This is thicker than the iPhones. I think I'm cutting enough. Okay, let's see if we can manage it now. If we manage to cut it using the blade, yeah, as I said, I'm new to this, so I don't know, maybe there are better ways to do this. Yeah, so this went fine. Good. Let me try to clean this a bit. I don't know, I think this is the CPU maybe? No idea. The big one there. So this is the over voltage protection chip, right? And as we saw here, you have an input cap and an output cap on the VBUS line. So let's see, this is the input. Let me add also the microscope here. Yeah, so we can have it here just for fun. So we have an input right here, and we have a dead short, as you see on the multimeter, and on the output we don't have a short. So the problem is either this cap, or I don't know, maybe there are more, or the chip here. But I think it's safe to actually inject some voltage and see what is actually getting cut. And because I don't want to take the thermal camera, I'm gonna try to use some IPA and see what gets hot there. So I'm gonna inject 1.2 no, 0.8 volts. You can see the supply up there, 0.8. And I can't tell like this, so let me get the thermal camera. Okay, so now we see the thermal camera. Let me see how I can get actually a ground. Yes, I think that's a ground right there. That's a tiny ground. Good. And let's see what actually gets hot. And it's the chip. It is the OVP chip that is getting hot. Yeah, definitely. Good. So now, if I look on the schematic, well, on this Borneo thingy, if we look here, I'm not sure if there's any kind of data coming out. I'm not sure if we could just bypass this chip and get the VBUS straight to the phone. I need to ask a friend, so stay with me. Okay, so apparently we can bypass this one. I'm not sure what temperatures to use here. The CPU is there too. Let's try to remove it like this. I'm not sure if that's the CPU, but let's see if it works. Yeah, we got a chip out. Well, so in theory we need to place a wire between here and here. That seems very easy. Maybe do a solder blow. Be a savage and do a blob. Let's try that. No, I can't do a blob. Let's get a wire. Let's see what I have at hand here. It's some 002. Mare. Yeah, I could do better with a better tweezer. Let's try with this one. Yeah, we've got one. And the other. Good. Did I break that off completely? I don't know. No, it's good. Perfect. Now let's try to put this back like this. It's good. So let's go back to our connector right here and let's see if we have now VBUS. So it's the left connector on the left side. Let's take the multimeter and here should be VBUS. What? It's still shorted? Oh no, it's not this one, it's the other connector. Here, yeah, we have 0.5. 0.5, I think we're good. So let me put the board back and I'm gonna be right back with you. Good, so I have the board back. So before powering it on, I'm gonna test it again with the multimeter on the cable just to make sure that all this connection here is fine. So the meter is still in diode mode and let's see. CC line. Yeah, CC line is good. VBUS is good this time, so no short. Good. I think it's time to actually connect the battery and test the charging. So as I said, the phone was starting. I'm not sure which is the power button. Maybe this one. Yeah, so the phone is booting. I'm gonna put something because it has some faces on it. And let's wait for it to boot. Yeah, so the phone is up. Let's connect the USB supply. Yeah, we can see the battery is at 14%, and if I connect the USB, it has negotiated to 9 volts instantly and is taking 1.2 amps and is set 14%, so it is charging. Yeah, this was it. Actually it was quite nice, intriguing. I like it. It's nice that you can actually repair this very fast. You don't have to remove the boards and to actually desolder the boards and rebuild them and lose all the time you lose on the iPhones. That's why you can actually do it in a mostly costly manner, and these devices are still worth repairing because you can charge way less than you charge on an iPhone. Okay, so this was it. Thank you very much for watching. Give me a like, subscribe if you didn't already, and see you next time. Bye for now.